Conquer this by doing 3 of these sessions. We've given you the PowerPoint to take home. We're going to give you, lots of good information to take home with you. We are going to help you cut down poster board today, if you would like to do that. And we also are going to show you some really good examples so that you can kind of see what you're going to be doing. But we would like for you to work on as much of this as you can at home. If you don't have a computer at home and don't have, your parent works a lot and you don't have a way to work on this at home, we will set up an appointment with you individually, okay? But if you can watch this session and you think you and your parents can go home and get real creative with this, that's kind of our goal for this, to be able to reach the number of kids that we want to reach with this program, okay? So, we're going to go through the PowerPoint. This is going to tell you step by step what to expect, and we're going to start by letting you know that this is a really, really great public speaking opportunity for your kids. It's a life skill that they don't have a lot of time to teach in schools anymore, so it's something that you're getting that other kids aren't getting the opportunity to do. All right, so what kind of life skills are we talking about? You're gaining your oral and written communication, being able to write about a topic, which most of you have already done, right? Okay, and we're going to give you a copy of your speech tonight, so parents, if you don't even have a clue what your child wrote about, that's okay. We're going to give you the speech tonight. Miss Kathy's working on that right now, so we can actually provide you with a copy of it. I will tell you that most of the speeches were a little short for this competition, so they're going to need to add a little bit more to it as far as the details and a little bit more information to make it long enough for this competition. But they gained the written communication already, and now we're going to work on the oral part where they get to present it. So public speaking comes into play here, organization, and we hope to build a little confidence. And that's one thing that I really hope we don't miss out on this year, because we've always done a great job of helping our kids' posters look really nice, so that kind of gives them an extra little bit of confidence when they get up there in front of the group. But we hope we're going to provide you with all the essential tools to make your posters look great. All right, so I have to do what? How many of you feel like this guy right here? Some of you probably feel a lot like him. Don't feel like that. This is a great chance for you to earn a bunch of points for your class. Okay, so you're going to earn about 200 points for your class for doing this, and 20 Clover coupons for yourself. So don't feel like that. You're doing a great thing for your club, and a great thing for yourself that you may not even realize yet, because you're going to be able to stand up in front of a group of people like this and talk to them very easily without being scared. And it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Number 1, and you've already done this part, so it's even easier than 1, 2, 3. Write a speech that includes an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Number 2, create posters. Number 3, gather your visual aids and items that relate to your topic. Okay? You're going to have a table, and you're going to be able to bring in anything that you want to that relates to your topic. Some project areas work better than others with this, okay? And we understand that. We're going to show you some options for those of you who maybe have a project area where you can't actually bring in a live animal. We can show you some options for how to do that. Or it's hard to bring in the item that you're talking about. We'll show you some alternatives. All right, so to start with is the speech. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up my points so I can talk about each one here. The speech needs to be about 3 to 5 minutes long. Okay, a lot of the ones I saw were about 2, so just add another extra minute on there, we'll be fine. You have a maximum of 6 minutes, so if your child is really doing a good job and you're talking way over 5 minutes, as long as it's less than 6, they won't count any points off. Okay, put the speech on numbered note cards, and we have some of those that we will provide for you tonight. We'll show you a good size to use, and you can pick them up from Office Max or Walmart. But we will provide you with some that we have tonight if you want them. Another part of the speech is it should have a catchy, interesting introduction that includes your name and county. And it doesn't always have to come first. Think about how many people will stand up and say, "Hi, my name is," and speaking of that, I didn't tell our parents and 4-Hers who may not have me in 4-H, my name is Leanna Deal, and I'm the 4-H agent for Bullitt County. Miss Kathy Deal is our other 4-H leader and our 4-H program assistant, and she works with lots of you. So most of the kids in the room, they either see me or Miss Kathy, depending on what class they have. But we are happy to be working with you tonight. So important part, introducing yourself. So include your name and county somewhere in the introduction, but to make it a little more interesting, it doesn't have to be at the beginning. You could start by telling them an interesting fact or something that would surprise them about your topic. Maybe use a quote from a famous person about your topic. There's lots of ways that you can make your introduction interesting. Totally up to you or how you do it. The body should be well organized and cover your important points. When we create posters, you also want it to flow in order of your posters, and we'll talk more about that. And then the conclusion is often what the audience remembers. So you want to have a great conclusion where you review the main points and leave them with something to think about, something that you want them to go home and do with the information that you gave them, or just a good thought to leave them with. All right, a little bit more about the introduction. A catchy title can help. In this picture, you can see here, see if y'all can hear me without this. This is Bobby, who just arrived. And this is her poster. It was all about how you could change blue jeans into insulation. So hers was called From Blue to Green, Changing Lives One House at a Time. And she actually used blue jean material to do the word blue. And then, of course, had the word green and green. So a catchy title can help and something to make yours look a little different than everybody else's. Like I said, you don't have to say your name at the beginning. You can make your introduction a little different than everyone else's. You could use humor. That's always a nice way to open it up. You could tell a personal story. I've seen some kids who really, had a personal story about their topic, and you could definitely use that in the introduction. Maybe why you love horses so much, or how you got involved with your topic. Surprising facts are always nice. You could find your most shocking fact that you found in your research and use that as the thing that you open up with. Quotes. Make your transition smooth. You don't just want to say your introduction without kind of leading into what you're going to be talking about next. So make everything kind of flow real smoothly. In your body, you're going to need at least two main ideas you want to cover. For example, you're going to have your title poster. You see some great examples of title posters up here. And then you're going to want to have at least two other posters. So you need kind of a main idea that you want to center that around. For example, if you were doing it on soccer, you may want to have one poster that's about the equipment that you'll need and another poster on the rules of the game. Okay? So you need to kind of be thinking as you're writing your speech how that's going to tie in with your poster making. Okay? So kind of make those work together. Be sure your points are in some type of order, whether it's in order of importance, chronological order, cause and effect. It just depends on what your topic is, but make sure that you kind of flow in order, and above all else, make sure the order that you wrote it in your speech reflects on your poster. So keep that in the same order. Okay? So as you list your different points, they'll follow the same order as your speech. State your points clearly. Use definitions, examples, and facts. And then again, use transition words. First, I want to tell you about this. Next, let's take a look at this. Another important thing to remember is those are some good key transition words that you can use as you move on to your next point. All right, then finally, the conclusion. You're going to review your main points. Use a smooth transition again. Today I told you about, or I hope you've learned a lot about. Your final statement is important, so you want to use a strong statement or a fact or challenge your audience. Again, you could do a quote, a story, or even a joke. Okay, sometimes those kind of things work better at the beginning, but just something at the end. You review your main points and leave them with one strong statement at the end. You can avoid the poor, overdone conclusions. You don't have to say, are there any questions? Because the judges are not allowed to ask your level a question. They don't want to make you have to answer something tough in front of your whole audience. So they're not going to ask you to do that. So a better thing for you to say is just a strong statement and thank you to let them know you're done. Okay? And you could say now, that's not really a bad thing to say, but just make yours different. Spend time writing an interesting conclusion. It will pay off, because that is the last thing your judges and your audience hear. All right, some poster guidelines. Title poster. You want to have a large font and a key picture. Okay, and Ms. Kathy's going to talk to you more about, and I know parents are going to want to know this, how big and what's the font size that we use. So she's going to talk to you more about that in just a second, but There are options, and she'll talk to you a little bit more about those, but you can see some different ways that we did those title posters. One is not better than the other. They're all, great ways to do a title poster. So we'll tell you more about the sizes, but large font, and you can put like a key picture on there, like the cat's on there, the farming picture, the back art here for the get into it, the ribbon. You can use glitter. She used a record, I think, over there on the Fabulous 50s. But a nice key picture, not cluttered with a bunch of pictures. Okay, that's what we mean by a key picture on the front. At least 2 information posters, like I said, with headings and bulleted points. We don't want you to write your whole entire speech on your poster. That will not score well. They will not be able to see it well. You want to write your speech on note cards, and you're welcome to use note cards, but your speech is just going to have your key points and main ideas. Brief statements. So you're going to use keywords and statements, not full sentences. You're going to use fonts that can be seen from 5 to 6 yards away. So you might want to, before you do your final draft of your posters, kind of make sure the size that you're using is large enough to be seen from about that far away. This room is about the biggest that the room will be. As far as the rooms you'll be presenting in, they're all classrooms, so it's about a classroom size. And the judges are typically toward the middle back of the room, so keep that in mind too. And also, I know there are some really cute fonts out there, but keep it to a font that you're able to see really well. You don't want to use all the curly cues and things if it's hard to read, okay? No matter how cute it is, make sure you can read it, okay? You can use a simple picture as a bullet, and we'll show you some examples of that. Do you know what I mean by a bullet point? You can actually use a picture instead to make it more creative. We've seen some like the cat. Did you do that on the cat one? Like on this cat one, you can see those cute little paw prints. We actually use those as the bullet points that you can see there. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's a cute way to do it. And for most project areas, you can find something. If it's horses, you could use a horseshoe. What are some other ones we've used, Ms. Kathy?
Use a doghouse.
A doghouse, a dog bone for the ones about dogs. For recycling, you can use the little recycle symbol.
Check marks.
Or a world. Check marks are always good, or if it's something you're telling them the positives and negatives, you could use X marks for the negatives. So there's lots of ways you can do that. Let's see, make your heading larger than the points, okay? So fancy facts is a lot larger than the points. So just make sure that you pay attention to that. And then your title posters are usually bigger than your headings even, okay? You can use maps, charts, graphs, diagrams, whatever you want to do. Get creative. I'm not sure. I think we're going to have one tonight that is going, he might be coming to the later session, but he did it on soccer, and we do have some of our 4-Hers from our junior and senior club that are going to show you a couple of examples of one. They're going to go through their whole speech for you, and some of them have shortened theirs to make it more of a Cloverleaf level so we don't scare you, because theirs have to be 12 minutes long. So I think she's cut out some of hers, right, Bobby? Okay, so yours does not have to be as long as Bobby's. But you can, the soccer one, he actually did a whole soccer field, and then he Velcroed up the soccer players as he talked about where their position is on the field. So that's something you could do. You can get creative with it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do, because I'm sure y'all can get even more creative than we can. But those are some examples of how to, do it besides just the bulleted list, okay? A couple other things with posters. The points on the posters must be in the same order as you have the points listed in your speech. That is a must. It just doesn't flow well to the audience or the judges, and they will probably count off a little bit on that. Print your words out using a computer. Consider backing your headings with construction paper that coordinate or match your posters. You can see, again, with the fancy facts there. And then the Go Green did a good job of backing the titles. It just stands out a little more. You wouldn't believe the difference between one that's been backed and not. It really stands out. Using 2 posters, 2 different poster colors, and by cutting down one of the posters, you can create a border and this reinforces your posters so when you get them on the easel, it won't come tumbling down. We highly recommend that you get some posters before you leave tonight. Our poster board is a little thicker. It's from Risa, so it's not something you can get on your own. You can go buy some from Walmart and things like that, but those tend to be very thin. If you don't see the colors you want here tonight, you could get the black to back your hot pink or whatever you're looking at getting, which, be careful with the neon colors because they can get a little distracting. But if you don't see the color you want, I would at least get a black or white or a coordinating color to back yours on so it gets that reinforcement. So your posters don't come tumbling down, because that can be a big confidence killer for you, okay? So we want to help you cut down posters tonight and send you home with the posters. And if you get home and you realize you need one more done, you can always call us and we'll get you one of those done real quick, okay? But we're going to try to send all of you home with a title poster and at least 2 information posters. And if you think you're going to need one more, we can do that tonight too, okay? Practice using your posters. Line them up in reverse order. Can you show them that, Miss Kathy? If you don't have an easel, which most of us probably don't have one of these sitting around, just get a chair or a bar stool that you might have up at your island at home and practice using your posters. Say your speech with your posters. Okay? So, Miss Kathy is going to tell you her introduction while she does the Crazy Cats, Crazy About Cats poster, the title poster's out.
And the next poster I need will be the very last one, so I always pull from the back. And that way I'm not looking through to see what goes next. The one that's in the very back, it always comes next. So I would do this when I pull it in from the back, like this.
And then she just does fancy facts.
And then when you're finishing your speech, you always go back to your title poster. And you start with your title and you end with your title poster. That's a good thing to always remember.
Yep, and lining them up in that reverse order and pulling from behind, that way you don't have to pull a poster up, try to lift it up. It runs a lot smoother. Posters don't fall down as often when you do it that way. So remember, line them up in reverse order and then pull from behind. And always go back to your title poster. That's what here's your whole computer text. All right, so Miss Kathy's going to talk to you a little bit about the piece.
All right, one thing you can do is you can have a pop-up. That's what we call a pop-up. It's where I can take a picture. I printed off the internet, and I just took some poster board and folded it over.
And that was an example of what I said. If you had a horse or a cat or something like that, you can't bring in the live animal. I mean, you could bring in all the things to take care of the cat, but you can definitely do a
Yeah,
pop-up.
you can do this, and if I were doing the demonstration, I'd pick cats because I love cats. And so that's why I made this up this afternoon. And I would bring everything that go on my table. You'll have a table like this, and you can bring anything. Like if I was doing cats, I could bring a cat bowl, I could bring cat shampoo, I could bring a cat collar, a cat toy, a stuffed cat. Can't bring a real cat. One year I was judging, and a parent from another county said, we can't have live pets. And I was like, no ma'am. The little boy had a lizard in his pocket. It was like a gecko. And I was like, no live animals. So you don't want to bring live animals. You want to bring like stuff, bring pictures, bring, stuffed animals, anything that you want to bring. Also, when you're doing your posters, rubber cement is your friend. It's very forgiving. I have to work with something that's very forgiving. If I put it down wrong, I can lift it back up and I can put it back on. You don't want to use Elmer's glue because your stuff will fade, and if you have to move it, it will tear. And so rubber cement is a great thing. It stinks, but it works really good. If you get more glue on your poster than you need, once it's dried, you can rub it off. You can even erase it off. So it works really, really well. That's all that we use in the 4-H office is rubber cement. And when we put the posters together, they stay nicely. Even the 2 heavy-duty ones, and we'll show you tonight when we start. I might do an example of how to glue it for you. When you're working with Word or any of those, that you're making your Word documents, what's the largest you can print? Anybody want to take a guess? What's the largest that you can print when you're making your font big?
72.
Actually, no. you can go in and you can click on that and you can highlight 72 and you can type in 150, 250, and you can make, a lot of people do not know that, but you can click on that number of 72, click on it, highlight it, and type in whatever, how big you want your font. And that's what I did for the cat poster. The crazy about cats is about 250 in font. And I printed it on legal size paper, and so it was able to print off nicely. And we've got where we do a lot of that. All of your schools have the Ellison machine, which punches out letters like this. And all the libraries have them, and so you could, if you want punch-out letters, you can always go to your library and ask them, can you please use the Ellison machine? The Teaching Tree is currently going out of business. You can go there and get punch-out letters if that's what you want to use, really inexpensively too. I encourage you, if you've got a printer, to print them off like this. It works great. With this, I really wouldn't have even had to have used legal paper. I could use letter size paper for that. But remember that you can make your font as big as you want it. You bold it. I did bold one of the letters. I bolded crazy, and so you can see it's darker than the others, and so you can see that's bold. I did make some errors, and I was going to see if you could tell what they were.
One thing I did was I scalloped the bottom. You don't want to do that because you see it's not the same as the other posters. And sometimes it might not fit on your easel well.
It'll be hard to change posters too.
Could you tell the line that I did not bold? Can you see it from there? The bottom was not bolded. So you want to, if you bold one, you want to make them all bold. And actually, I could have made these larger. You can see this is a little small to read. And I could have made these bigger, and I should have, but I wanted you to see that they're a little small. Because you don't know where your judges are going to be sitting in the room, you want to make them a little bigger. But I did feel like them in black. See, if I had put white on this, on the whiteboard, it would have been even harder to read. But I decided to put it on the black poster board, okay? So that's just some things. You know, clip art's wonderful.
If you've got pictures of whatever you've done, the internet's great because you can take pictures if you're doing it on a craft. You can take pictures and show step by step of how to do it, but you know, certain tips. So, any questions? Yes.
Are you going to be reading what's on your poster boards, or are they just going to read?
You're gonna be following along with your poster boards, but you're gonna have your note cards.
But whatever's on your poster board should definitely be mentioned in your speech.
Like it's just like this.
If I was doing my speech, and what if I said, the first thing I said was they were discovered 9,000 years ago. Well, I wouldn't want to do that last. I would want to do this one first, which says the Egyptians were the first to have cats. And so I would definitely want this to be first in my speech. The next tip on my poster board is cats are the second choice to dogs. And I would definitely make sure that that was on the note card. You can number your note cards. You can get the little hooks to go on your note. We have note cards here for you tonight. You can take, and you can even punch the hole and get the little, I don't know what it's called.
Little hook.
Yeah, the little round hook to go on there to keep them in order. That if you drop them, you're not scrambling to see. What number's next?
One thing I thought about when Miss Kathy was talking about the point size, it depends on the font, which that may have been a small font, so don't think you got to do 250. It totally depends on the font that you're using.
And I think this font was like Ambry or something like that. But it definitely depends on your font. You can do like a bold font, and you might not have to go that large.
All right, a couple other things with visual aids. A table will be provided for you at district. It may not be this big. We don't always know how big the table's going to be, so just be aware of that. A matching tablecloth is suggested. You never know; it might be an old beat-up green table, like is in your teacher's classroom. You know, that's where it's in a classroom setting, so you never know what the table's going to look like. So a piece of cloth, Hobby Lobby's wonderful. You know, you can get a piece of cloth for not very much. Plan on it being a 6-foot table, maybe how many, 2 yards, 3 yards of fabric?
About 2 yards.
2 yards of fabric will do it. If you can't think of any items, we can help you make a pop-up like the cat picture you saw, or websites are great to put on pop-ups, information such as that. And you've got to mention your items on the table. They're not just there to look pretty. So if you bring a stuffed cat, you want to make sure you're using it to show them how to put the collar on, or use it to show something, not just to be pretty. All right, so go get started. District Project Achievements, March 19th in Emmanuel County at Swainsboro Middle School. We can set up individual times if you need additional help. I do want you to come with a plan though. We're not just, you can't just show up with what you have written there. You got to kind of have a plan for your posters. If you need help though, we will help you. And then we can't wait to see you at District this year. And there's our group from last year. We had a great group, and they did really well. And we hope this is going to go well, and everybody's going to do a great job this year. I would love to see you actually come do it for me before we go. And I mean, it would just, these are only 5 or 6 minutes long, so it's only going to take 5 or 6 minutes for you to show it to me, and about 3 or 4 minutes for me to give you some feedback. So I have some sessions set up in the next couple of weeks leading up to District where you could come in, 10-minute session, do it for me, and let us, final touches and suggestions. We'll be happy to do that. Okay? Bobby Brookins is one of our senior 4-Hers. She does hers on the Blue to Green project, and she's going to give you a little example here of good demonstration.
Okay. Excuse my appearance. It's not how you need to dress when we were doing the demonstration. Okay. In August of 2005, states on the Gulf of Mexico faced a terrible tragedy. After enduring hours of winds reported up to 98 miles per hour and 11 inches of rain, New Orleans thought they had seen the worst of things. Then, to their misfortune, the levees broke, showing no mercy in drowning the entire city. When Cotton Incorporated got word of this disaster,